The number one thing people ask is what work I've had done. So today I'm telling you, people assume I have had a shit fuck ton, I told you I was gonna cuss, of plastic surgery. I haven't, except for my titties. I have willingly let people point lasers at me, stick needles filled with poison in me, and charge me enough money to fund a small country's brunch budget. You're gonna look like you fell asleep on a George Foreman grill, but you also have to trust the process. And this is the one thing that if I could, I would take it back. When I talk about being hot AF at 48, the number one thing people ask me is what work I've had done. So today I'm telling you. Now listen, some of it changed my life. One of them, I would do it again tomorrow if I could, like no joke. And another one, I wish I'd never walked through the door. So if you've ever Googled, is this procedure worth it at 1 a.m. with your credit card already in your hand, this one is for you. Hi friend, I'm Cynthia Garcia, and this is I'd Like to Thank Myself. Now, if you've ever spent money on your face or even just thought about it, but wanted to know what's actually worth it before you hand over your credit card, well, that is exactly what we're doing today. But before we do, fair warning, I cuss a lot. So if you hear a fuck or shit or the occasional motherfucker, that's just how I talk. If that's not for you, that's okay. This is your stop. But don't come at me in the comments because I warned you. Now, before we get into it, people assume I have had a shit fuck ton, I told you I was going to cuss, of plastic surgery. I haven't, except for my titties. I've had those done 3 times. I'll tell you about that if you want to, but I have not had a facelift or any plastic surgery on my face. If I did, I'd fucking tell you because that's kind of what I do. Now, I will do it eventually, trust and believe, but my plan is to hold off as long as I can. So everything I'm about to share is what I do in an effort to push that day out as far as possible. And when it's time, you will be the first to know. I'll tell you everything. Cool? All right. So before we get into all the things I have had done, because there is a shit ton, I'm not going to lie about that, I broke this down into 3 categories. There's the game changers, which are the ones that genuinely changed my face. There's the secret weapons, which is the stuff that nobody talks about that honestly made more of a difference than some of the expensive stuff that I did. And then there's the cautionary tales. Yep, these are the ones I regret. And we're going to save that one for last because I need a little more champagne to be able to talk about it. I've never talked about the last one at the end publicly, so here we go. Okay, tier 1. So as I said, I'm calling these the game changers. Now, these are the ones that made me see myself in the mirror and think, oh, hey, bitch. Hey, come here often? I know, but just go with it. The first one was a fractional CO2 and erbium combo laser. Now, this is the most powerful treatment I've ever done. Also the most invasive, we'll get to that, but nothing else comes close. I did 2 lasers in 1 session, and the CO2 goes deep for collagen remodeling, and the erbium resurfaces the top layers. And together, they basically tell your skin to start over. It's true. And your skin literally starts over. So this is the closest thing that I have found to a reset button for your face. And trust me, I have looked hard. I've spent an irresponsible amount of time and money looking, but this one treatment did more for my skin texture, my fine lines, and my overall holy shit's that really you factor than anything else I've ever tried. Now, I told you it was intense, and it was. The recovery is not cute. I looked like a murder victim for a while. I'm not kidding. Like, your social life will be canceled. You can't wear makeup for 3 weeks. You're going to FaceTime your best friend, and she's going to pause for just a little bit too long. And then she's going to say, looks great. It does not look great. You're going to look like you fell asleep on a George Foreman grill. I'm telling you, trust me on this. But you also have to trust the process because when your new skin comes through, it's like meeting your face again for the first time in 10 years. I almost cried. I'm not being dramatic. Okay, I'm always being dramatic, kind of always being dramatic, but this time it was warranted. So if you're going to do one big procedure in your life, this is the one I'd pick. Hands down. Now, I will tell you, it's not cheap. And like I said, the downtime is real, but the results, I mean, I was already on the phone asking when I could book the next one. My provider was like, ma'am, you still have scabs from the first one. I'm like, okay, but pencil me in. Let's set a date. I know. Okay, so that was the big one. Now, the next one is just the opposite. 10 minutes, no downtime. And I swear, if they made this available as a subscription service, I would have signed up yesterday. So number 2 is Botox. I know. I love Botox. I don't know how else to say it. Like, if Botox were a person, I would have its babies. I know. Why am I like this? And people act like Botox is this big controversial thing. You know what's controversial? Walking around with a forehead that's showing every emotion that you've ever had to people who didn't ask to see them. I'm just saying, judge me. I don't care. You all do anyway in the comments. You guys say the craziest shit, by the way, which is totally fine. But Botox is one of those things where people think they know what it is, but what it actually is completely different. They think it's this whole big experience. It's not. You go in, it takes 10 minutes, you leave. 2 weeks later, you look like you just came back from the best vacation of your life, except you didn't go anywhere. You just stopped looking like you were mad at everybody. Maybe you are mad at everybody, but the good news is they can't tell. It's a good thing. I've been doing Botox for years. I will never stop. And I have a great injector. And so people just say, you look well rested. And I say, thank you. And I keep it moving. Because what am I going to say? Thanks, Susan. It's because last week I let a woman stick a needle full of poison in my forehead. I mean, come on. I mean, I probably would say that because I'm me, but most people don't want to hear that over brunch. You know, they just want to be like, you look great. And you're like, thank you. And then you move on. Now, as I said, the injector is everything. Listen, you have got to find somebody who doesn't overdo it. Ask me how I know. I've had the craziest shit happen with Botox, and your face is just frozen like that until it wears off. Now, yes, it eventually wears off, but don't be out here in these streets looking like the Joker because you wanted to save some money with a coupon from Groupon. I don't know. Do they still do that? Anyway, your provider is super important. We're not going for that permanently surprised look, right? You've seen that woman. She looks like she just found out she won the lottery and also that the lottery is haunted at the same time, right? You've seen her. Don't be her. Find a good injector. It is everything. Everything. The difference between okay Botox and wow, you look amazing is the person holding the needle. All right, so Botox keeps things smooth here, but what about the actual structure of your face? You know, when things start shifting and sagging and bagging and going hollow, that's where this next one comes in. And honestly, this might just be one of the most personal ones on the list. All right, this one is filler. I know. This one feels really personal because it's the one that made myself look like me again. Myself look like me. Okay, get with it. So as you get older, as you well know at this point, you start to lose volume in your face. I didn't know about this until that happened to me. But your cheekbones start to flatten, right? Your jawline softens, and one day you look in the mirror and the geometry of your face is just different. It's not necessarily worse. It's just not you. So I decided to fix that shit. I got filler to rebalance my whole face. I wasn't trying to look different. I just wanted to look like the version of me that I knew from back in the day, you know? So the one thing though about filler that did scare me, and I put it off for a minute, was the bad filler that I saw on Instagram. Have you seen this? You have, right? Good filler makes you look amazing. It makes you look like you. When I got filler in my cheekbones here, and I did my chin because my chin likes to go in the wrong direction, so I fixed that. Nobody said, oh my God, what did you do? People just said, oh, you look great. Did you do something different with your hair? Because good filler doesn't announce itself first, right? It just kind of puts everything back where it was before gravity and time had their little meeting about your face without inviting you. And I think that's what scares most people is they see like the pillow face, the bad filler on Instagram, the duck lips, and they think that's what filler is. No, that's what bad filler is. Good filler is like one of the best things ever, right? It's like a little secret that you get to keep. or get on YouTube and tell everybody because fuck it, what could possibly go wrong? I don't know. Anyways, I did my cheekbones. I put filler in my chin. I also, for some reason, my doctor, I went to a doctor, by the way, put a little drop right here to kind of pull this up. I don't know why, but I let him because he was great at what he did. And it just kind of brought my whole facial structure back together, right? Okay, but all of that, the procedures that I've already mentioned, the 2 lasers, Botox, and filler, all of these things are going to work 10 times better when this next thing I'm about to share with you is handled. Because if you skip this one, honestly, I don't think anything else on the list matters as much. And that is HRT, or hormone replacement therapy. So I think if I had to rank everything that I've done in order of impact on how I look and how I feel, like looks only, it would definitely be the erbium and fractional CO2. But for feeling and looking, HRT would be number 1. It's also the one that took me the longest to figure out because every doctor I went to made it as difficult as humanly possible. See, your hormones are kind of like the operating system of your body, right? And everything else is just apps. I said it in my last video, and I'm going to keep saying it until every woman over 40 hears it. But hormone replacement therapy changed my life more than any serum, any laser, any procedure, anything, period. It changed my skin. It changed my sleep, which then changed my skin, changed my body composition, and it changed my brain. I know. And the fact that women have to fight to get it, that doctors just dismiss us and be like, everything's normal. What is some bullshit, quite honestly. I spent years, listen here, years, Linda, did you hear me? Years hearing, oh, your levels are normal for your age. What does that mean? That I should feel like trash just because I'm over 40 and that's just how it goes? Anyways, finally, I found a doctor who actually listened. It was like my 5th doctor, and she did something about it. She changed my protocol. Within weeks, I felt like a completely different human. And so if you're over 40, I know you might or might not be, if you haven't had a full hormone panel with someone who actually specializes in hormones, that would be my number 1 recommendation for this entire video. You can get some poison in your face, and that's great, but you got to do this or nothing else is going to work as well. Okay, so those are the game changers, the big 4. And everything I just said, that's the overview. Now, the full protocols, my exact providers, my peptide stack, my skincare routine, all the products I use, the cost, so on and so forth, literally everything I do, all of that lives inside the Vanity Club. It is a community of the best women on the planet sharing their best kept secrets, and I share mine too, because that's what I do. So think of it like your vanity, the one place in your house where nobody else's needs live. You sit down, you take a moment for yourself, and you stand up feeling better than before. So if that interests you, the link in the description is in the comments. And if this is the kind of content you've been looking for, then I would say subscribe because I am just getting started. Okay, next up is tier 2. I call these the secret weapons, right? So I gave you the big stuff, the procedures that everybody asks about. These are the secret weapons, the ones that I almost didn't include because most people haven't heard of them. And honestly, a couple of these made more of a difference than the really expensive things that I did. So if you're still here, this is where it gets really good. Okay, so the first one is PicoSure Laser. And this is for pigment, right? So I have had freckles since I was a kid. I know some people think, oh, that's so cute. No, it's not cute. Maybe on a 20-year-old. On me, they just made my complexion look muddy or like my face was dirty. And I've hated them. I always have hated them. So I tried to get them fixed. And I tried all these other lasers and they would kind of get a little bit lighter, but nothing worked. Vitamin C, lighter, nothing worked for good. Then I tried PicoSure and it was like somebody finally turned the lights on or off. You get it. Anyways, I know that I should have worn sunscreen in my 20s, but I was a fucking idiot. I was also drunk a lot. There was that because I was 20 and that's what you do. So I didn't wear sunscreen. Anyways, pigment is the thing that ages you that nobody talks about because everybody is so obsessed with wrinkles. But you know what actually makes your skin look older? Uneven tone and spots, like that patchy thing that happens after 40 where your skin looks like it can't decide what color it wants to be, right? But PicoSure fixed that for me. One session, I felt better. Two sessions, I seen a big difference. Three, and everything was almost completely gone. Now, I will tell you that the spots got a little bit darker for about a week, which my doctor had told me, so I was prepared for it. It's totally normal. And then they just sort of lift off like little scabs of my former sun damage saying goodbye. I don't know. It's honestly one of the most satisfying things I've ever watched happen on my own face. And I say that as someone who has watched a lot of things happen on this face, right? So I do PicoSure, and then I also do the next thing that I'm going to tell you about, and I do them on the same day to save time, because why would you do 2 trips when you can get lasered twice in one sitting, kind of like the overachiever that you are? So the next one is V-Beam Laser, and I do this for redness. Now, I feel like this is the laser that's kind of the sleeper. Like this is the one that people aren't talking about, but everyone needs to know about it. So V-Beam will target redness, broken capillaries, rosacea, all of that vascular stuff that makes your skin look like it's inflamed or flush. And listen, I'm so white. Have you seen me? It's like Casper the Friendly Ghost had a baby with a piece of paper. Like that's how white I am. So any redness on my skin is like fucking Rudolph, right? I either look embarrassed or angry, and neither one of those is how I want to look. And so V-Beam fixed all of that. It got rid of all of the redness and some that I didn't even realize I had just because I was used to seeing me in the mirror. Anyways, it was just gone. And when the redness is gone, everything else you're doing shows up more, right? My makeup looked better. My face looked like it just had taken its first deep breath in a decade. And again, I think of PicoSure and V-Beam as a pair. So again, one handles pigment, that's PicoSure, and the other handles redness. And as I said, I do them on the same day, and they just give you like a clear, clean canvas so that everything else looks a little bit better. Now, this next one handles what's happening underneath, and it might just be the most underrated thing on this entire list, and that is peptides. And I'm going to give you 2 that I think are just amazing. One is copper and one is tirzepatide. So technically, this is not a procedure, but it is work. So I have had work done. I do work. And you can skip this, but if you do, you're going to be skipping something that quietly changed my skin more than some of the lasers did. I know, not the fractional CO2 and erbium laser, that one's the one. But peptides, I have been using them for over a decade, way before they became trendy. And 2 specifically I'm using right now, copper peptide and tirzepatide. Now, these are the ones that, for me, really make a big difference. So the copper peptide repairs your skin. It tells your skin to rebuild. It's like a set of instructions, right? That's what peptides are. And tirzepatide works on firmness and elasticity, kind of that, that bouncy quality to your skin that just leaves after 40 without saying bye, right? Like it doesn't even pack its shit. It's just gone one morning and you're in your bathroom like, what happened to my face? You get it? You get it. Anyways, together, these 2 peptides are doing the work under the surface while everything else that I've told you about so far is on the surface, right? It's what you can see. And here is what I love about peptides. They're not dramatic like I am sometimes. They're not going to give you like a before and after that goes viral. The Big Daddy laser I told you about will. But these won't. These are kind of like the quiet friend who shows up every day and does the work without needing credit. You know what I mean? And if you're anything like me, that friend is the one that you actually trust. Peptide is the friend who helps you move, right? Lasers are the friend who throws you a party. You need both, but you need to know which one actually loves you the most. And for me, that is peptides. Now, my full peptide protocol is inside the Vanity Club. This is one of those things where the specific products and the dosing actually matters. And I change this frequently. So I just put it in the vanity club because if I put it here, it's going to be outdated as soon as I say it. But these, again, get to the root cause. They're both amazing. I would not stop using them. And speaking of root cause stuff, skincare. And I want to tell you, this is my own serum. I have a skincare company. I know. I created a serum. It works. I use it every day. I'm going to tell you about it, and then we're going to move on. But I'm going to tell you why I built it first, because I feel like that why is the part that matters. And then I'm going to tell you how it's unlike anything and how I swear by it. And if you don't want it, that's fine. It leaves more for me. Okay. So when I hit 40, I've mentioned this in other videos. So if you're not new here, you're going to be like, I know this story. But people literally started texting me that day saying, enjoy becoming invisible. And I thought, absolutely the fuck not. So I decided to get to the root cause because I was using products and I'm like, there's got to be something deeper without full-on needles and procedures and lasers, right? So what is the root cause? Turns out there is one, and it's something called zombie cells. Have you heard about these before? Because I hadn't. So they're also called senescent cells, and basically they are cells that stop functioning. They're like zombies, right? They're like, eh. They kind of just hang out, destroying your collagen. They create inflammation, and they age you from the inside. And what's worse is all the healthy cells, they infect them too and turn them into zombie cells. So you start to get that dullness and, the fine lines start to come into play and the collagen starts breaking down underneath. You get it. So I built a serum called Show the Face Up, because that's what I want you to do, to go after those cells. And again, to remind you what you should do every day, show the face up. Fuck this narrative of becoming invisible. Like, what is that anyway? So when you use the ingredient that we put into this product that gets rid of the zombie cells, that's amazing. But then I also paired it with ingredients that regenerate new cell growth, that protect the barrier, that hydrate, and that bring back your glow. Because what I didn't want was just another serum that sat on top of the problem looking pretty and doing nothing. Like, I've dated that guy, right? I wasn't going to put him on my face too. I wanted something that went straight to the source. Like, I wanted the real deal, right? I want that ride or die kind of ingredient. So I built it and then I tested it on my face. Not models, never animals. That's fucked up. I put it on my own face. I put my own face on the line because that's how much this mattered to me. It's that important. Okay, so that is the Show the Face Up serum. Now, one more in this tier, this second tier, and it's a quick one, but I promise it matters more than you think. You're not going to believe this. Like, if you had to guess right now, you wouldn't guess it. Do you want to guess? You're like, no, bitch, just tell me. Okay, so this one is veneers. I know, quick one, but important. I got veneers and I would do it again in a heartbeat. So here's why. I grew up very poor. We had no running water until I was 15 years old. We used an outhouse. We didn't have medical or dental care unless you cut your foot off, right? And for your teeth, like, you had to have a toothache so bad you just couldn't function, or have your face be swollen like twice its size because of like bacteria and infection. Anyways, so my teeth when I got older were a hot mess. So I decided to fix that. I mean, listen, your teeth frame your entire face, right? So now when I smile, it matches the rest of the work that I put in. So it's one of those things where you don't really realize how much it matters until it's done. And then you think, why did I wait so long? At least that's what I thought. I don't know, right? I don't know. Anyways, so veneers. Now, two more quick ones, and then we get to the part that you've been waiting for, the Cautionary Tales. And trust me, you are going to want to hear these before you book anything, because I wish someone had told me about this. Okay, let's get into the last category, which is the finishing touches. Okay, first thing, hair extensions. Yep, I have them. Yes, I would do it again. Yes, I'll probably do them forever. I actually have a lot of hair, but it's really fine. And I'm also super busy, so I don't have a lot of time to like fluff and add volume. And extensions give me that volume that makes me feel like the version of myself that I see in my head, right? And listen, half of Hollywood wears them, if not all of Hollywood. Your favorite newscaster, that woman at school pickup with that impossibly thick ponytail, guarantee she's wearing them. I'm just saying it out loud so that you don't think there's something wrong with you because everybody else has this great hair and you don't. It's because I bought this shit. Okay, let's just be honest. Another finishing touch is spray tan. I spray tan every week. I know it's not a procedure. It's hardly even a treatment, but a good spray tan makes everything look better. Like your skin just looks healthier. Your muscles look more defined. You look thinner. It covers up cellulite. True story. You just look more alive, right? And I actually do this at home. I know. So because I'm so white, remember Casper the Friendly Ghost and a piece of paper had a baby and here the bitch is, because I needed so much spray tan and because I was getting them like every week, I actually invested in a spray tanner at home. And I get the tanning solution that the pros use. I have a spare bathroom. I go in and I spray and it's super convenient. Now, the spraying machine itself is an investment up front, but it lasts for years. I've had mine well over a decade. True story. I think I've replaced the little nozzle thing on it once. But with the time you save and the convenience, it's 100% worth it. So spray tan is one of the easiest things you can do that makes the biggest visual difference. Okay, last tier, and I'm calling this one the Cautionary Tales because not everything I've had done went the way I actually wanted it to. And there's a reason I have a drink, and it's to talk about this part. Okay, so the first one is under eye filler. Now, I did this, it went fine, my results were good. But, and knowing what I know now, I would never do it again. The under eye area is one of the riskiest places to inject filler. I know some people do it. That's cool. You do you. This is for me. This is just for me. The blood supply underneath the eye in this little area is so complex and the margin for error is so thin. The potential for complications, like I personally don't think the risk is worth the reward. I just don't. I mean, under eye filler sounds like one of those things that's super simple. Like you have hollows underneath your eyes, you get them filled, done. And I won't lie, for a lot of people, it goes perfectly fine. It went fine for me. But the more I learned, the more I understood that fine is not good enough when you're injecting something next to your fucking eye. It's your eye. It's your eye. I mean, again, the anatomy is pretty unforgiving, and one wrong move and you're dealing with something that is very difficult to reverse. I don't want to scare you, but there are some stories on the interwebs. You can go read about them. I won't mention them, but I really feel like I got lucky. And I don't know about you, but I don't love building my beauty routine or how I look on luck, right? Like I love building it on, I researched this shit and the math makes sense. And the math on under eye filler, for me, just stopped making sense. Now, I'm not saying don't do it. You do you. I'm just saying know the risks, like really know them and find an amazing provider who is highly skilled, highly trained, someone that you really trust, someone who has a track record. Because again, it's your eyes. I mean, it's very nice. Hello. All right. So that one is one that I wouldn't do again. This next one, I actually regret. Are you ready? You probably have heard this before. Morpheus 8. If you've been anywhere near the beauty space in the last decade, you've seen this everywhere, right? You've seen med spas pushing it. Every influencer and their mama got it. They posted their before and the after. I bought in. I was like, oh my God, this is a miracle. I bought all the way in. I bought all the packages. I had it done all over, like all my kneecaps. I told you I went all the way in, right? I walked in excited and I walked out with a receipt that made my eyes water. Now, the promise was skin tightening, collagen stimulation, volume replacement. And that was one of the things that got me, right? Because I'd started to lose volume in my face. And I was like, no. So I'm going to get that shit back, right? And what I actually got was the opposite. I know. I kept waiting for my face to look fuller and the lines to go, and never happened. And I thought, okay, you know what? Collagen takes time to rebuild, right? You got to be patient. So I kept doing the sessions. Like I said, I even did kneecaps. Nothing. Multiple sessions, thousands of dollars. And when I did start to see results, do you know what I saw? I actually lost volume. I know. It's the opposite of what it was supposed to do. Now, I've done some things with this face. I have willingly let people point lasers at me, stick needles filled with poison in me, and charge me enough money to fund a small country's brunch budget. And this is the one thing that if I could, I would take it back. And I don't think enough people are saying this out loud because the marketing is so intense, right? And the treatment is so expensive that nobody wants to admit that they got played. I got played, and I'm admitting it on camera with champagne, granted, but I'm admitting it, right? So if you're considering it, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I am going to tell you to do your research beyond influencer post, because the people getting paid to promote it are not the same people who are dealing with the aftermath. So trust me or not, that's cool, right? You do you, but that is the one I regret. And so does my bank account. It's just true. All right, so that's the work. Those are the game changers, the secret weapons, and the cautionary tales. Now, this is not everything I've done because I can only sit here and talk to you so long and you'll only watch for so long. I've also done Sculptra, PRP, PRF, microneedling with PRF, other lasers, internal peptides that I haven't told you about for longevity. But again, if I told you everything, we'd be here all day. So drop in the comments which one surprised you. And if you want a part 2 where I go through more of this shit, then tell me, because I actually am in the comments. I read, I respond. Even if you say some dumb shit, I'm going to respond to you. So I actually do read them. I'm a person. All right. So that's the work, all of it. The lasers, needles, peptides, hormones, the serum that I created myself because nothing was doing what I needed it to do. If you want round 2, like I said, let me know. Some of these things I told you about were the best money I've ever spent. Some of it taught me that not every shiny thing in a med spa is gold. And one of them, well, you already heard about that one. But every single one of these decisions, I made them on purpose for myself. For the girl who grew up with no running water and no dental care and decided that she was going to figure out how to look and feel like the version of herself that she always knew was in there somewhere. And she did. And she's still going. So I'm raising a glass to the woman who sat in every waiting room, handed over the credit card, trusted the process, got burned more than once, and still kept showing up. To the one who tested a serum on her own face because she believed in it that much. To the woman who heard enjoy becoming invisible and said, absolutely the fuck not. And to you. So to who we were, to who we are, and to the icons we are becoming. For that and so much more, I'd like to thank myself. Cheers.